Hi, my name is Isabella. My name's Ren. And you're watching the Share Podcast.
You play to win, I play to fight. Let's drop the midsides and rise. Welcome everybody to an exclusive episode of The Sheriff. Guys, do I ever have a treat for you? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the game of hockey has changed quite a bit, especially when it comes to the role player in the NHL. Gone are the days where the fourth liner gets the tap from the coach and goes out and fight. Today's NHL has a new age tough guy that can not only forecheck, not only get in on the play, but is an actual asset to his team. My guest today has mastered that role and embraced it over his career. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world, I would like to introduce to you my guest today. He hails from Toronto, Ontario. At 6'4", 230 pounds, he is a heavyweight. He is a true fan favorite and an unsung hero. He has also played over 600 games in the NHL and AHL, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, my guest today, Mr. Luke Gazdic. How are you doing today, my man?
I'm good, buddy. I should correct you on two things. Did master, retired, but ECHL as well.
Now, I did notice the ECHL,
Yeah.
but that was only, I would say, what, about 10, 12 games in total?
Less than a dozen. I'd
Less
say
than a dozen.
six or seven, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, Luke, I just want to get right off the bat. I really appreciate you coming on my show, brother. I want to tell our listeners and supporters where exactly we met, which was at the Steve Ludzik Charity Golf Tournament.
One of my favorite people in the world, the Ludzik family, and Steve, Senior, I call him. One of my favorite families and people of all time. That's how we met, and I'm glad we did.
Yes, man. And okay, so what I wanted to ask you was, first of all, what is your connection to Ludzik? Because I find it interesting hearing people say how they met the man Steve Ludzik.
So Ryan, their young, I was going to say youngest son, but he is their youngest son, but they only have two boys. And he was my goalie for the Erie Otters in junior.
Okay.
So
now this is Ryan you're talking about.
This is Ryan.
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
The first time I met him, and they used to have this their garage they called the Derby Lounge, and we used to go there in the summer and hang out. And I just thought Senior, we call him Senior. I thought he was so cool. Played for the Hawks for a number of years, but that's how I met him. He was our goalie for the Erie Otters for 2 years of my career there. I only played 3, but still one of my best friends.
Yes. Now, I find that to be a common theme when anyone's ever talking about the Ludziks. Now the Ludziks have been a big supporter of me as well, and I really appreciate it. I love seeing you there because you're one of the most colorful guys that you could get at a golf tournament, man.
Yeah.
You made things very entertaining. You made me feel very comfortable, and I really appreciate spending that time with you in Niagara region for the Ludzik. The Links for Ludzik tournament, which is always a fun thing. So now I wanted to get into the character thing with you, brother, because this is a big character alert. You're a huge character, and what I like to do is I like to dig down and find out where this came from. Now, we're both Toronto boys, okay? So now the one thing that I noticed when I was doing my research is that you have 2 brothers that played hockey and a father with some hockey history. Do you mind talking about your family a little bit and growing up in Toronto and what that was like for you?
Not at all. One of the reasons I started playing hockey was we had a backyard rink that my dad made, and he got drafted to Buffalo. He is from Sudbury, born and raised.
Right on.
One of the only players in junior history to play his 15-year-old year. He was a heck of a player. One of the best to come out of the Wolves. He's number 3 all time. I think number 3 all time of Sudbury Wolves all time games played leaders. And that's he was my inspiration. And he made us a backyard rink every year. And
wow!
It was just unreal. I used to skip school and fake sick to stay home and go in the backyard rink. And then my older brother, who was one of my other inspirations, he he played, and he was an All-Canadian at McGill. Younger brother played in Erie as well. Just we were all hockey guys, but I can't miss Jillian. I know she's going to watch this, so Jill never played hockey, but she was an all-Canadian trampolinist and a heck of an athlete too.
This is your sister you're talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah.
Okay. Right
And
on.
I know I can't miss Jill. I can't miss my sister, so got to mention her as well.
Of course. Now, I think the same way of you, because what a lot of people don't realize is that our sisters have a pretty big influence on us, man, especially if they're of the athletic type, which I find.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you mentioning your sister, because I love to throw my sister's name into the mix too, because she had definitely had a big influence on me. So now, let's talk about, I'm not going to let you off that easily, man. You're a pretty big dude. How big is your father and your brothers? Are they comparable to your size, or?
I would say I'm the biggest in the fam. My
Okay.
dad's not huge. He's about 6'1", I'd say, maybe 200. My older brother is a little bigger. I'd say he's about 6'3", but I'm definitely the biggest.
Right on.
And when I came into the league, my first year in the NHL, I think I was about 235, 240 pounds. And I'm about 220 right now, but I'm definitely I think I'm the biggest sibling in my family. Actually, I can't say that about my brother's a little bigger right now, but he wouldn't want me to say that, so.
Right on, right on. So now, Luke, okay, so growing up in Toronto, I wanted to discuss the minor hockey, because minor hockey's changed a lot from, I mean, I'm 7 years older than you, but from when we were younger to now, minor hockey's completely different in Toronto. Who did you play for growing up in minor hockey, like before Wexford, before all that?
It's crazy because it's sitting right there, the North York Rangers of the GTHL. But I didn't play AAA till I was 14 years old. I played AA. Like I wasn't, you know what, I could play, but I wasn't a great player. Like I wasn't like a top of the line player, I guess I'd say, but
Right
the
on.
North York Rangers in the GTHL, I was a left winger, but maybe kind of just a point per game player, just a crushing winger, and it's really weird that jersey, that's literally my jersey I wore playing in the GTHL, so yeah, that was my team, North York Rangers.
Right on. So now, the arena that you guys played at, I was going to guess that, is it the Herb Carnegie
Herb
Arena?
Carnegie, yeah.
Right on.
It used to be
Okay.
called North York Centennial, but it
Yep.
got renamed to Herb Carnegie. And man, I remember going back in there to teach a skate a couple years ago, and you know, when you're younger, it looked a lot bigger than I thought it was.
It looked so big when we were
It
young.
looked like I was playing in the NHL like years ago. They had the bleachers on the one side and just the kind of the scouting box on the one side.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was North York Centennial, and then when I was like 14, it got renamed to Herb Carnegie. But that's my rink and that's my team.
Yep. And I had to give a shout out to Mr. Herb Carnegie, who's been recently inducted into the Hall of Fame. We had his grandson here just a couple months ago celebrating. So that's really cool that you got to play in that arena and that you know that history.
Yeah.
It's a big part of hockey history. So that's absolutely incredible.
He's an absolute legend.
He is a legend. He is a legend. Deserves all the recognition he can. God bless his soul, right?
Yeah.
Now, dude, I gotta get into this whole Erie Otter thing, okay? I gotta get into that because I think it's pretty intriguing to find out the stories of Canadian kids that moved to the States at such a young age. Like, I went to Sarnia when I was 17. I thought that was a big deal.
You're a Sting guy?
Oh, yeah. You're Erie, Pennsylvania.
I know. I went to Sarnia. I was really good friends with Rich Clune, who played there as well.
Okay, right on.
Marco Caprera.
Yeah.
John Hekamovic.
Okay.
I remember all those.
All the crew.
I remember all those.
Okay,
guys,
right
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So now, Luke, honestly, going south of the border, you know, I'm assuming you were 17 years old because you were a 3-year guy in the OHL, right? So now, was it a big step? Were you not that nervous because you knew the team was going to take care of you? What was it like for a teenager to move to the States at such a young age?
No, to be honest, I wanted to go to school.
Okay.
I St. Michael's High School here in Toronto.
Yep.
I went there. Don't want to say I was a smart kid, but I was an honor roll student, and I wanted to go to the NCAA. I wanted that experience, and I went to Erie when I was 16. I fought when I was 16. Came back, had a great camp at 17, but they wanted to have me there, and I thought that junior was the way for me to go. So that's the route that I chose, and I'm glad they did because it worked out, buddy. Hey.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, buddy. For your agent, for your parents, for your teammates, for anyone involved,
No one had
with you,
agents. I was 17.
You didn't have an agent in junior.
No,
Really?
I did not.
Okay, right on.
My agent was my dad. We just talked about the decision, and yeah, I didn't have an agent at the time.
Wow. Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah,
I mean,
nothing. Yeah.
the fact that your father, had your back and was, on your behalf, that was probably a very good thing with his experience and his know-how in the game. But now, so playing for the Otters, thank you very much. Playing for the Otters, the thing that I noticed when I was looking at it, because I'm a stat guy, is, dude, you improved every season, right? So what does that show me, a guy that played in the OHL that knows what it's like? It shows me that you embrace the system. It shows me that all the coaches and brass must have really liked you to keep giving you these opportunities that you kept earning to get better and better and better. So it means that you're extremely coachable and that you're a great teammate. What's your opinion on your Erie career? Do you agree with that?
Well, I'll say one thing. I appreciate the kind words, but the coach I had there in the second 2 years, I don't want to take anything away from Pete Sidorkowitz, but Robbie Fatorik, who was my coach, was one of the best coaches and human beings I've met. He taught me so much about the game. He literally taught me how to play hockey, but you're right. I embraced my role. I had to realize kind of that I could score goals, but I also had to fight at the same time, and like play physical. And he kind of just taught me that. Like he taught me how to play and how to embrace my role. But that was easy for me. Like finding your role in a lineup is a mindset. And I feel like a lot of guys don't get that, but I got that. You know what I mean? And I figured it out, and it helped me get to the pro ranks.
Exactly. So now, before you got to the pro ranks, you had to get drafted. Now, this must have been a huge day for you, Mr. Luke, okay? Now, your father being drafted, I'm sure that it was such a good feeling to have his son to be drafted as well. Now, my question to you, did you guys go to the draft? Where was the draft?
You're getting me choked up right now because I remember getting drafted, and no, I don't even remember where it was. I went to an all-boys private Catholic high school, and I went to an all-girls Catholic prom.
Okay,
on the Friday, right? So Saturday, I told
Loretta Abbey?
Yeah, Abby.
Right on. Hey, I'm a St. Mike's guy too, man.
Yeah, okay.
Only 1 year.
Okay, so I went to Abbey prom, and I told my mom and dad not to call me the draft day. And I got a call at 1:30 p.m. just saying, you just got drafted. I said, where? They said, Dallas, 172nd overall, Dallas Stars. And my buddy was just screaming at me. He goes, Dallas. And I called my mom and I said, call everybody you know and invite them over because we're going to have a party tonight. And I remember we have a hot tub and a pool in the backyard, and I remember playing Tom Cochran's Big League, just saying, my boy's going to play in the big league. And it was one of the best nights of my life.
Well, and you know what, Luke? I really appreciate you telling that story because I could feel the emotion in the story, and it's awesome. Now, what I want to add to that is I've always believed that the NHL draft is a family accomplishment. And I know it sounds weird at first, but just hear me out. We're 18 years old when we get drafted to the NHL, okay? So other than maybe a year or two, if some of us were underagers, our families are with us through and through to this point. Okay? So to me, getting drafted to the NHL is like pretty much telling the family, look, we're going to let this guy in. It's up to him now what he's going to do with it, but we want to recognize your family for what you've done, for the commitment, time, and everything you've done to make this happen. What do you think about that, my man?
You're getting me emotional. I remember one of my Christmas presents to my dad, I gave him a signed photo of me playing for the Otters. And I said, I think I said the battle's only started, or the battle's halfway over. My dad looked at me and said, "Kid, the battle hasn't even started yet." You know?
I like that.
And I remember
like
him.
it a lot.
I'm getting emotional right now. Yeah, I just remember him saying like, "Lukey, the battle hasn't even started yet," and I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back at it now, he was so right. I don't want to say making the OHL is easy, but it is. You know what's hard? Making the NHL.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's 1%, minus 1% of hockey players that will ever do it. And him saying that to me was completely right. But I 6 a.m. practices and mom taking all our siblings just to watch me play.
Yeah.
They mean everything to me.
Of course.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm pretty emotional. Yeah. Sorry, that makes me emotional, but yeah, they mean everything to me.
Luke, I appreciate the emotion. I'm a very emotional guy as well, so trust me, we're here together, man. We're here for each other, and I know that the listeners really appreciate this because this is the type of stuff that they really want to hear. They don't want to hear like, how much money you made and this and that. They want to hear things like this, right? So this is important to the real fan. And I appreciate you talking about it.
I mean, I was never a guy that's like wanting to tell those stories about being a beauty and rookie stories and all that. And I've also learned more and more in my last couple of years to kind of talk about your feelings and emotions a little more. If there's any young players watching this, don't be afraid to talk about the things that made you successful and the things that make you happy or sad. Like, it's not bad to talk about your emotions, big boy.
Oh yeah.
Even for a tough guy, I'm a big teddy bear. So
this is the thing. A lot of people know that a lot of the tough guys can be nice, but I'm going to go one step further. I think the tough guys are always the nicest guys. What I'm finding is that there's more teddy bear, big, loving, tough dudes.
I know, yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
One of the best sayings, man, that I'm hearing right now, and I'm probably going to get it wrong because I'm on the spot, but it is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And that's what you are, man.
Wow, I really
a
like
warrior
that.
in a garden.
I really like that.
Yeah, dude. And I really appreciate you. So now listen, all this emotion stuff, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. We're gonna switch it up a little bit. I heard a little birdie say.
Let's get going.
Yeah, I heard a little birdie say that the guest on my show today has an NHL record. I would like to speak about this. Now, before I get into the story, I have to give a little bit of the outline. Your first NHL game, Luke. How did you find out about the call-up? I want to hear that story.
So this is unreal. I got drafted by Dallas, like you said, but played 247 games in the minors without getting called up. Went to camp for a 5th year, and my last game was against Edmonton.
Okay.
Scored that game, went after their tough guy, Steve McIntyre.
Whoa, Big Mac.
Oh, I asked him.
Oh.
I asked him multiple times.
Big Mac.
He took a run at me, tore his MCL in that game.
Okay.
On the plane, on the way back we were playing in Oklahoma City. It was like halfway between Dallas and whatever, somewhere down there. And they said, we want to meet with you tomorrow morning. And that's never good, right?
Yeah, it's not.
And they told me, they just said, you know what? You're going to go down for another year. And I said, really, 5 years? I remember saying to Jim Nell, I said, what else do you need me to do? What else can I do? I've fought, I've scored, I've done everything you guys have asked for 5 or 4 years now, and a 5th training camp. And I remember leaving the rink in Dallas in tears. And then they said, you can stay here, wait till you clear waivers or get picked up, or you can go to Austin, which is where the minor league team is. I go, you know what? I'm going down to Austin. I was just about to swear, sorry. I'm going down to Austin. 12 a.m. the next day, I get a call from an unknown number. And he goes, hey, is this Luke Gazdic? And I said, yeah. He goes, this is Craig McTavish, GM of the Edmonton Oilers. He goes, "Do you want to play in the NHL?" I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. He goes, "Do you want to play in the NHL?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Have you before?" And I just remember thinking, shouldn't you know that? You just picked me up.
You're scouting me, man.
Shouldn't you know that? And I said, "Yes, I would." He goes, "Well, you're going to play in our home opener. This is Sunday at noon." He goes, "Well, you're going to play in our home opener, Hockey Night in Canada, Tuesday night."
Whoa.
He goes, "Versus the Winnipeg Jets." And I just remember thinking, holy. And I was in the coach's office, and he said, my assistant Connie is going to call you after this with the flight details. Oh, this gets better. You're going to love this one. He goes, "Connie's going to call you." I was sitting in the coach's room, and my coach, Willie Desjardins, said, "Who do you want to call?" I said, "Mom and Dad." Called them, and I just said, "I'm going to play in the NHL on Tuesday. Get on a flight." It's too bad. My dad was on a business work trip, so he couldn't make it. But my brother, my mom, my sister, mom was out there for sure. Connie says, "You have like 4 hours to get on a flight. Like, get going." So I remember buying a suitcase and getting my gear and all that, and just remember, like, because you don't know how long am I going to be there? You know?
Yeah, you never know.
If you get picked up on waivers, you're technically allowed to be there for a month. So I knew, like, pack for 30 days. So I fly out there. No, actually, I had to fly through Minneapolis. I almost missed my connecting flight.
No way.
I grab like a granola bar and like a juice, and I hear someone just goes, "Hey, are you Luke? Are you Luke Gazdic?" I look over. I see this big bald man, Mark Messier.
Whoa. No big deal.
And Mark Messier looks at me, he goes, "You're Luke Gazdic." And I was just like, "Yes, sir." Like, I called him sir. I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "I'm going to fly with you to Edmonton, and then we're going to split a cab, and I'm dropping the puck for the first game."
That's pretty impressive, man.
So I sat with this guy on the flight, business class, eh?
Yeah. No big deal.
I remember sleeping for a little just because I remember even saying to him, I was like, "Moose, I don't think I called him Moose, but I was like, "Moose, I'm so tired." We take a flight from Minneapolis. I'll never forget Mark Messier carrying my bag and sticks out of the airport in Edmonton.
Wow, that is
I'll never
special.
remember a legend like that. Yeah, and I don't know if you've ever been to Edmonton, but like it's like a 45-minute drive outside, and yeah, we drove home, and I just picked his brain and asked him everything from hockey to life. And I remember asking him, I said, "Where'd you live?" And he said, "We live right downtown." He said, "I live with Gretz." I said, "Oh my goodness." I said, "Where?" He goes, "Right downtown." I said, he goes, "We called it apartment condo 567. He goes, "This was a great time." Like he said it was the best time ever. So it was pretty cool being with him in the car.
Yes. Now, just for the listeners, I just got to add a little bit to that, okay, before we move on. Now, I'm sure you became incredible good friends with the Edmonton Oilers trainers. I was blessed to get one invite to training camp from this club, okay? This is right before Rockford Ice Hogs.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? So they told me some stories that no matter what Messier and Gretzky and those guys would do, the cops would not get them in trouble. They had a free pass as long as they kept winning. It was all good. So Mess probably had the time of his life. He had a get out of jail free card, and he was a 5-time Stanley Cup champion with Edmonton.
With Edmonton.
I think. And then one with New York.
6 cups with
6
one with
total, yeah.
I mean, playing in Edmonton, it's hard to explain how big you are, there.
Oh.
You know, there's only 2 professional sports, right?
Yeah.
There's I was going to call them the Eskimos,
Yeah,
but
now the Elk.
The Elks, yeah. But there's nothing. I don't want to say this, but there's nothing else that happens there. It's not the front page of the sports section. It's the front page of the paper.
Oh yes.
Every day. So it's tough playing there. I remember I told my mom this story. Getting there the first time, I went to Starbucks, got a coffee, I said, can I get a large Americano or grande Americano? And the barista said, what happened on that third goal last night? And I was like, can I just get my coffee without talking hockey, please?
Yeah.
So we didn't even really go out. Like me and I lived with Taylor Hall. We loved, and Connor McDavid, my last year, all three of us lived together.
Oh, so you lived with McDavid?
Oh yeah, he was.
Wow.
His rookie year was. Taylor had this beautiful house in West Edmonton, and usually younger kids like that move in with older captains and stuff.
Yeah, veterans. Yeah.
But he wanted to live with some younger guys, not to party, not to do anything like that, just so he can, right? To feel comfortable. Yeah. So he moved in with us. So me, Taylor, and Connor lived together his rookie year. Yeah, and he broke his collarbone that year, so. He broke his collarbone, and I just got healthy scratch the whole time. So
you guys got to spend some quality time.
Yeah, so we got
together,
to spend a lot of time together, and I just remember always just picking his brain and asking about hockey and life, but just playing in Edmonton, it's different. Like driving Connor around it's like driving Justin Bieber around here in Toronto.
Oh yeah,
like it's insane.
Oh yeah. Now see, you're so good at this, Luke, that. One of my questions was going to be like the difference between the Canadian and American clubs. I mean, I can talk about training camps, but you can talk about playing for these teams. Now, now obviously Edmonton was a huge difference from New Jersey.
Oh, Jersey was crazy. Yeah, even Taylor Hall, who was their best player at the time, he's one of those guys that doesn't love the attention. Mm-hmm. And he would love just going and sitting down for dinner and no one coming up and being like, hey, Taylor, can I get a picture? Can I do this or that?
Yeah.
But I don't want to say anything bad about Jersey also, because Jersey was an incredible place to play.
Yes.
Incredible place to play.
Oh, yeah.
We had an apartment in Jersey City looking at the New York landscape.
Yeah.
And we could be in Tribeca in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But nobody knew who any of us were. And I just loved that. But Edmonton was just completely different.
And I appreciate you saying it like that. So now, Luke, listen, my listeners need to know about this record, man. Please tell us, man.
What, the fastest goal? So, yeah.
And that's what it was. It was the fastest goal to somebody's career?
So it was the fastest goal scored by a player playing in his first game.
Perfect.
14 seconds. So I get off the ice, and Scott Oak from CBC grabs me and says, they give me that towel, that iconic towel, and he just said, you just broke a record, right? And I just remember saying, what record? He said, you were 14 seconds. And I said, what was the last one? He said 15 seconds. I said, who was it? He said Mario Lemieux.
Mr. Mario Lemieux.
Mr. Mario Lemieux.
Holy smokes,
and
buddy.
So I just remember, it took me like 62 games to score the second one, eh?
Hey, that's okay, man.
I don't know if it's actually 62, but it took me a while to score the other one. But yeah, NHL record. I don't know if it's still holding up, but it hasn't. It stood for a long time.
Right on. So now I gotta ask you, man. A lot of people say the best weather in North America is in San Diego.
Oh,
now I've seen that you played a couple seasons there, my friend. So I played in the AHL for a bit. I love the Texas trip, San Antonio, going to the rink in your shorts. It's a very different type of experience. But living and playing in San Diego, the best weather in North America, how did you do it, Luke?
Man,
how does any of the boys do that?
It's hard to keep your mind on a straight and narrow when it's 20 degrees and sunny every day.
Every day.
I loved Austin, Texas. That was awesome as well. But, man, 20 degrees and sunny every day. Number one fans in the league. Like attendance-wise. So we had almost 10,000 fans a game.
This is in San Diego?
San Diego. Number
one attendance in the AHL.
3 years in a row.
Whoa, okay. I did not know that. Thank you for telling me that.
9,800 fans average in a row, 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Yeah. So the rink holds about 13 or 14. So our playoffs, when we were in the Western Conference, I think finals, we had about 15, 14 with standing room. But yeah, we would have about 14 there. Oh, yeah, 10,000 Friday nights. We had dollar Bud Lights and all the
No way.
the college kids would come out. But yeah,
Wow.
it's just a beautiful place to play and live. It's expensive, but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's a really cool place to play and live, and it was one of the best experiences of not just my life, but my whole career.
Right on. So
Yeah.
now, Luke, like what I was saying, like in the beginning of the recording about like the new age tough guy, and that's the way that you had to transform in order to play in the National
Yeah.
Hockey League, right? So like for you, was it like I find that to probably be the most difficult role is that new age tough guy that you had to play, because you not only did you have to skate your ass off, not only did you have to get into the forecheck, not only did you have to sit more so towards the end of the games, but then be the cheerleader, be the team motivator, be the loudest guy in the dressing room. There was a lot of hats that you had to wear, man, but you did it. And the main thing is that your teammates really appreciated you, man.
Hey, not only that, but you have to score. You have to produce too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is hard.
You got to put up the numbers too.
It's hard
So
to score goals in
20
pro
hats.
hockey. It's hard to produce and do that on a daily basis when you've done this role for your whole career and you have contributed, but then it's like, okay, can you ease back on one sense of your role, and can you
Yeah.
do a little bit of one? It's really hard, and it doesn't exist anymore. There's nobody that just
Yeah.
skates around. I'm not saying you or me were guys that skated around and couldn't skate and play, but you literally have to do everything now, and just being tough won't get you there.
Exactly. So now let me add to that. But then there will be the games that you do have to act like it was 20 years ago, right?
yeah.
There'll be those games too. So then it'll just be like, wow, like I'm not a multiple personality person. I'm not insane, but I got to act like it sometimes.
And I got sick of it, man.
I hear you, man.
I was 30, 31 years old, whatever it was, and someone takes a run at a player, and I'm just like, now I got to go fight this guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like,
Answer the bell,
man.
right?
Like, I wasn't one of those guys that got excited to do that.
Yep.
So, and there isn't a lot of that even if a guy gets taken a run at. There's just not a lot of that, and I didn't want to do that anymore.
I hear you. And you know what, Luke? The thing is that the players today, because of guys like you, there still is a little role for the tougher player. So
There is, yeah.
I have to thank you. I know that there's people watching this saying, yeah, Luke Gazdic, man, yeah. And I'm telling you, as soon as I started putting out the posters for this show, there was so much support coming through, man. A lot of people appreciate you. A lot of people really like the way that you played. But I think most importantly, it's the way that you interacted with the fans and the way that you gave back, man. And that's what people really appreciate about you.
Well, we wouldn't have a role or a job without those fans.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
If there's no fans buying tickets, if there's no one coming to watch us play, then we don't have a freaking job,
Exactly.
So San Diego was one of my favorite ones, but so was Austin as
Wow.
well. Edmonton was unreal. Actually, I played for some really, really cool fan bases. But yeah, I always tried to take time to make myself known in the community, and hospitals and anything community-wise. I really tried to take moments out of my day. We would go to practice for 3 hours?
And then we're done.
9 to 12?
Yep, and we're
We
done.
had the whole day.
Where are we going
okay?
for lunch, boys?
So
Right?
we would go for lunch and then go do something good.
Yeah.
And I would try to make it not a every day or even maybe weekly thing, but like go out to your community, make yourself known, give fans the tickets, all that stuff.
Dude, there's a lot of young players that watch this, that listen to this, there's a lot of people that look up to you. So I really appreciate you telling them these things, because I'm telling you, they're going to listen to every little thing you say. You've done it. You've been through it, right? And the way that you do it is the way other people want to do it. So I'm telling you right now, I appreciate you putting out those things out there about talking and like letting things out emotionally. That's a really big thing. Me and Curtis Gabriel last week, we got into that a little bit. I love the fact that you brought it up and I didn't have to, because more and more players are becoming more brave and saying these type of things. And it starts with the big characters like you, and then it's a domino effect. So thank you so much, buddy. It's so important to me, but to everyone else. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Luke.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And I just think it starts with hard guys that people think are these tough guys, and they are tough, but, you know, deep down, everyone has it, right?
Yeah, that's it, buddy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So now, Luke, I'm going to put you on the spot, bro. I got to bring you back because we've gone over the time limit, and I feel like we've been talking for 5 minutes. So
literally,
there's a lot more that we got to get, but it's been.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, 100%.
You and me, center ice, who's...
I mean, I would just hope that it would never happen.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Because I wouldn't want to get a bomb from Luke Gazdic, that's for sure.
No, man, I remember watching you when I was younger, but you're nails, and thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
for sure.
it.
But yeah, like I said, I hope you come back, bro. There's so many things that you said here that are important that I appreciate, and so do the viewers. So
yeah,
hats off to you, brother.
You're the man.
And I wanted to thank the viewers for tuning in to another episode of The Sheriff featuring special guest, Mr. Luke Gazdic. We'll see you soon, guys. Woo!